His conference on Sunday, where he also cautioned against taking this harmony for granted.
We've made a lot of progress over these 50 years, but we've made so much progress that sometimes Singaporeans may be lulled into thinking that we have arrived. No need to work hard anymore. It's like this, it's naturally like this. When you wake up, it will still be like this. Can go to sleep, don't have to worry. And race and religion can no longer divide our society. I think that's being complacent, that's dangerous, because in any society, race and religion will remain difficult issues, will remain sensitive issues. And I think today, compared to 50 years ago, in some ways, more complicated and more difficult than it used to be.
Mr. Lee added that just looking at society on the surface, one might not realize how much work goes into ensuring everything runs well. He noted that from time to time, there will be prickly issues and incidents with a racial tinge to deal with.
You just look at what happens when we don't manage to keep things under control. One person puts one rude post on his Facebook page. Go to sleep, next morning woken up, half of Singapore is angry with him. Sometimes angry with her. It happens more than once. Sometimes we have real-life incidents, not just in cyberspace. For example, when you are dealing with families where there have been conversions, where there's inter-religious marriages, where there are children involved, baby is born, someone passes away, whose rights do you follow? Do you baptize the baby, or do you take him to the temple or to the mosque? Or somebody dies, where do you bury him? What prayers do you say over him? It's very sensitive. Emotions are up. Everybody is already upset. And something like this comes along, it can easily become a problem.
But Mr. Lee said fortunately peace has been maintained because of responsible religious leaders who set the example and adopt solutions with the spirit of give and take. The police and community leaders also play a part.
But Prime Minister Lee said people must also realize that Singapore is affected by the outside world as well, one major external development being jihadist terrorism and in particular ISIS. Over 30,000 people from around the world have gone to the Middle East to join the terror group, including many from Southeast Asia. In Singapore, 9 self-radicalized individuals have also been detained to date.
We've got to be on our guard. It can happen. It's happening around us. If it comes to Singapore, I think we must be very, very, very careful that we don't let it pull our fabric apart. We cannot rule out that possibility. It can happen. Now, if it happens, what must we do to make sure that we don't destroy our racial harmony? I think we've got to nurture our racial ties and our trust and confidence and build that up now.
Recalling the race riots in the 1960s, Mr. Lee said those who lived through it would never forget the fear and anxiety and would know racial and religious harmony should never be taken for granted. But younger ones who have not experienced such racial strife must be constantly reminded. That's why Racial Harmony Day is celebrated every year on July 21st with various activities like exhibitions organized.
I attended one of these exhibitions a few years ago in a school in Tegui, and the kids took me around. The kids were trained. They became docents, guides. And they took me through the whole exhibition. Very good. Then at the end, we finished. I chatted with them. And then one of these young docents asked me, he said, "Sir, when you were in school, did you also celebrate Racial Harmony Day?" I was so taken aback. I said, "No, I didn't celebrate Racial Harmony Day. On the 21st of July, when I was in school, one year there was a riot. That's why you're celebrating Racial Harmony Day now." I think he understood me, but in a way, he was not there. You don't want that generation ever to be there, and yet you want the generation to understand what it is which is precious, which is important, which we've got to safeguard together in Singapore.
And that's to ensure Singapore will be all right as it looks to the future beyond SG50.